Yes, people, right now we're on The Guardian. So this article is about, we're looking at data centers. So it's a boom or bubble inside the 3 trillion AI data center spending spree. Now, Americans here in the United Kingdom, all around the world, you're seeing places like Saudi Arabia, Middle East, UAE. There are many entities and institutions, big companies, big players, big monopolies, spending billions of dollars and even trillions now, looking at basically investing into artificial intelligence. So basically AI. So we've seen these kind of data centers pop up in the United States of America, USA, and Donald Trump was recently here on a state visit to the United Kingdom, and he talked about the USA investing billions of dollars into the UK, and some of that money would go towards tech industry, so data centers and so on. So, in today's contemporary world, the way we live as human beings has changed a lot compared to the analog, years and so on. And the internet came in. You had the dot com and all this kind of stuff, and then the bubble followed suit. Now you've got all this digital and tech elements, and artificial intelligence has picked up. Some people believe that it could be a bust coming, a big, economic downturn with artificial intelligence, similar to the dot com bubble at the time. Others think it's something that's actually now going to take over on many different elements and aspects. So, the global investment spree in artificial intelligence is producing some remarkable numbers. A projected 3 trillion, that's 2.3 trillion pounds and $3 trillion spent on data centers basically is one of those elements into artificial intelligence. So, like I said, it's a lot of data. So, think about it. We use social media, we enter data. The government uses various systems to pay, get taxes paid in, to pay welfare payments, to run and operate systems for government departments and so on. Individuals think about the data we have on our phones, the data in different platforms, streaming platforms, and so on. There's so much data now. We need these data centers to hold this data basically. So it says here vast warehouses, central nervous system of AI tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's VEO3 underpinning the training and operation of a tech into which investors have poured vast sums of money into this type of technology. Well, ChatGPT, I think it was originally released on November the 30th in 2022. I myself have been using it over the last couple of years, and it has actually been a game changer, especially different things like content creation and that kind of stuff is very useful. Administration and asking questions and various other uses to it. So a lot of people, millions of people actually use Chat GPT. So there is a free version and then a paid version, and I believe there's a business version as well. So you can see how AI has come into or come on the scene and now is dominating in many areas. Now it says here, despite concerns that the AI boom could be a bubble, so I did talk about similar to the dot com bubble in the early 2000s. AI, like some commentators are saying that AI could be a bubble, and obviously if that does burst, it'd be another big crash. There are a few signs of it at the moment. So the Silicon Valley AI chip maker Nvidia, one of the biggest companies right now, worth billions. Last week became the world's first 5 trillion company. Actually, it's worth trillions. $5 trillion. Can you believe that? Company, and Microsoft and Apple's valuation hit 4 trillion. Basically, the latter for the first time. A restructuring at OpenAI has valued the company at 500 billion, with half a trillion, and a stake owned by Microsoft at more than 100 billion. So this could lead to a 1 trillion flotation potentially next year. So lots of billions and trillions basically all over this AI space. So it's big, big, big money being invested by big players into this space. So you can see why, people are thinking that, there is a potential for a bust at any time. But at the same time, there are opportunities as well to be had for those, who can find those opportunities. So basically, Google's owner Alphabet has reported revenues of 100 billion in a single quarter for the first time. helped by growing demand for its AI infrastructure, while Apple and Amazon have just reported strong results. So it's not just the financial world, politicians, tech companies who basically believe in AI. Well, there's a big user case for it. I mean, and there's also a threat in terms of like, will it take over a lot of the jobs that humans do? This is a big question right now that's worrying a lot of people. So in the 19th century, demand for coal and steel from the Industrial Revolution. So Manchester was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution here in the UK, where they used coal, to power, get power and run mills and factories and cotton mills and all that kind of stuff. Obviously helped all over the country as well. West Midlands, for example, the Black Country, Wolverhampton, Dudley. Then you had areas of Wales like Newport and so on. So the Welsh city of Newport is hoping for a new chapter of growth from the latest transformation of the global economy. So near Newport, on the site of a former radiator factory, Microsoft is building a data center that will help meet with the tech industry's hopes. Will be exponential demand for AI potentially in the coming months and years. So that is basically being built by Microsoft in Wales outside Newport, a data center. So standing on a concrete floor that will soon host thousands of humming servers. Well, humming is one thing to think about here because that could cause things like noise pollution. So I've seen in America residents who live close to these data centers have reported problems with sleeping, for example, noise pollution and so on, because the humming's been so loud. I believe those that operate those data centers were trying to look at different ways of trying to solve that challenge. But that is one of the things that could potentially happen. So Labour leader of Newport City Council, Dimitri Batroni, says the Imperial Park data centre is a chance to tap into the economy of the future. So cities like basically Newport, they're ripe for potentially getting some jobs in this industry and helping basically embrace the future. So despite the market's current positivity about AI, there are a lot of questions about sustainability of the tech industry's outlay, use of natural resources like water, other elements, and things like noise pollution, and so on. So four big players in the AI scene: Amazon, Facebook, Meta, Google, and Microsoft have increased spending on AI. So big competition between themselves on pumping dollars into AI research and AI operations and system development, infrastructure development. Obviously, that's why they need the data centers to build their infrastructure so they can host more data. So over the next couple of years, they're expected to spend more than $750 billion, so three-quarters of a trillion, on AI-related capital expenditure, meaning non-staff items like data centers and chips and servers basically inside them, spend money on those things. So this spending spree that Manning and Napier, a US investment company, describe as nothing short of incredible, well, it is that kind of money pretty much in a short space of time. In this space is absolutely huge. So Newport site alone is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So previously, the California-based Equinix said it was planning to invest $4 billion, £4 billion, sorry, on a center in Hertfordshire. In March, the chair of the Chinese e-com group Alibaba, Zhou Sai, warned he was seeing signs of excess in the data center market. So basically, on the other hand, so he said, I started to see the beginning of some kind of bubble. He said, pointing to projects raising funds for construction without commitments from potential customers. So there is, potential risk there and AI bubble on the horizon alongside some of the positive elements. So you got to, balance both of the pros and cons of this type of context. So 11,000 data centers globally, already up by 500% over the past 20 years. That's 2 decades, and more are basically coming all the time. So how are these going to be funded? What's the source and so on? So Morgan Stanley analysts at the US Investment Bank estimate that global spending on data centers is going to reach somewhere around 3 trillion between now and 2028. So what, next 2 3 years? So big numbers there. With 1.4 trillion covered by cash flow from big US tech companies, also known as hyperscalers. That means 1.5 trillion needs to be culled from other sources like private credit. So going part of the shadow banking sector is raising alarm at the Bank of England and elsewhere. Morgan Stanley believes private credit could plug more than half of the funding gap. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta has tapped the private credit market for $29 billion of financing for a data center expansion in Louisiana. So we're going to leave it there as the article goes on to talk more in depth about these data centers. But I just want you to get an idea of what these data centers are all about, where they're coming. They're landing in the UK, they're landing in other places, what it means, and the type of money that's being invested in terms of UK, US economy worldwide, and so on. Trillions of dollars into AI centers, artificial intelligence, and investment and analysis have been discussing this. Others are discussing the potential for a bubble. Others are talking about a boom. So we'll have to wait and see how things develop. What do you think about AI right now? Do you think it's threatening the jobs that humans are currently doing? Do you think it's good, something that'll help boost the economy of countries and get business up and running, get the economies going? Do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.